So the takeaways, what we had talked about at first. So now I believe that you understand now what do we mean by IP and signature reputation. You know what the data feeds mean and the CTI and how it can help in different things. It's giving you more visibility into the threats coming after you. It's helping your incident response process. It's helping the communication or translating the IT risk or the threats into a business language. And fourth, it is helping your strategic planning and investments, which then you will have an improved decision and strategic decision making. That's all. And if you got any questions, you're more than welcome. Go ahead.
Thank you for this excellent presentation. I have a quick question that what is the false positive rate for CTI? And can you compare it with the traditional false positive? Thank you.
So most of the time when we talk about false positive, it has to do with the, for example, statistical data, for example, malwares or IP or something. During my presentation, I mentioned that CTI is processed by humans. So the false positive is almost nothing. And when you're talking about the false positive, it has to do with the malwares or something. In a main FIRI company, which is doing incident response most of the time, we have witnessed breaches that didn't involve any malware. It was like from A to Z of the breach itself, and there was no malware at all. But there was some TTPs. So during, like, if you understand your threat actor and how they, like, what kind of TTPs they are employing, based on the TTP which is developed by a human, you'll be able to detect that kind of threat actor in your environment. So we're not talking about malwares, we're talking about threat actor itself. Go ahead. Morning.
Good morning, Khalid. Thank you for this great presentation. I like the example you started the presentation with. I think I know many organizations in the region who they are. I mean, leaders in the field of cybersecurity, and even they are running the threat intelligence 24/7. But for the example you started with, I think the same situation in the region that many organizations still either they started fixing the basics of cybersecurity and they are struggling with, or even they didn't start. So it's good to hear from you, I mean, experience, how they can play with this situation, how can they play the game because of the new technologies and the new tools in the cybersecurity space.
Sure. So when it comes to technology, at each organization, let's talk about security controls. You're seeing like 30, 40, 50 controls, and you're trying to correlate all of these in one place. So there is one use case that you can use tactical threat intelligence is by when you have aggregated all of these logs in one place, you can apply intelligence to it, and it will flag out the critical alerts to you. I know this dilemma is happening since ever. I've witnessed that many times. But the function itself, when it comes to the SOC itself for monitoring and detection, most of the time, if you have the incident response function aside from it, and you have the CTI function as well aside from it as well, and all of these are communicating to each other, each one of them, it will help each other. There is a new de facto terms that are used these days, for example, red teamers, blue teamers, and purple teamers. Let's say the blue teamers are the SOC, which is not enhancing at all. If you have the purple teamer that is communicating with the red teamers to test them, and the purple team itself giving the CTI or the new updates about this CTI to the blue teamers, they will enhance a lot through the time. And most of the time, they need assessments, continuous assessment for their capability and their readiness to respond to these kind of advanced threats. Good? Thanks a lot, everybody.
Before our next networking sessions and break time, that's going to be for 30 minutes, our last speaker before the break time, he is Mr. Mohammed Al-Yusuf. He is the sales director of ME, working for NetScout since 2014. He has 16 years experience in the security industry, focusing on network security and business continuity. He will be speaking about regional sales directing. Mr. Mohammed Al-Yusuf, give a big round of applause.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Well, today we will talk about digital transformation and cyber threat. Okay, I was looking for this one. We all agree that we are in a time of digital transformation. Before, it was about facilitation of what we need to do. So the networking in general was helping us to communicate. But by the digital transformation we have right now, we're talking about the network is the business. But with this type of digital transformation, we came with a risk. This risk has to be in mind all the time. As much as we move into the digital transformation, we carry risk. So we are accelerating and the risk as well. So the connected world is the business. So it's not only the network is there and it's connecting people, it is the core of our life these days. And as we were saying, digital transformation comes with increased threat surface. So before a couple of years, we have never heard about cybersecurity. We're talking about protecting our infrastructure, having a secured network, bring your own device is a risk. In this world, with the digital transformation, we also have the variability of data is increasing. So it's not even user data. It's user data threat we have. We have a lot of data variables within our network. And it's also bringing an alert for every single individual working in this industry. Plus, it will increase the number of tools. Previously, 15, 16 years ago, when we were talking about security, we were talking about firewall. When the IPS came, it was a revolution that I need to protect inline infrastructure. For that reason, we see with the transformation we have that we have a lot of environments or organizations failed to protect their assets for many reasons. Visibility and control was really limited. We do have limited actionable responses. So yes, I see the threat, but what shall I do? Am I working reactively or proactively? Those are the concepts where we start building the cybersecurity on. Plus, it's increasing the cost itself. So instead of having 2 or 3 products to protect my infrastructure, I'm talking about huge number of technology being implemented in my infrastructure. And I need to do the orchestration between all those stuff in order to reach to what we call it protected infrastructure. We all agree that there is no peacetime. These days, every single second you are thinking of protecting your infrastructure, somebody sitting somewhere in the world is targeting your infrastructure, specifically your data. And this is the most important part. DDoS is the entry for any cyber or any threat campaign. It might be kind of reconnaissance. It might be of misleading infrastructure of where I'm heading. So whenever you see a DDoS, you should expect that behind that DDoS, you will see kind of cyber crime. The DDoS started with basic things. You bombarded with traffic, overwhelming your bandwidth, your infrastructure is disconnected. But the DDoS attackers got more smarter. and came with a concept of multi-vector attacks. The multi-vector attacks is much more common now. IoT threat has also evolved. Internet of Things started to be the trend in the industry. You see everybody talking about IoT. But IoT is also a risk. DDoS attacker can recruit those IoTs to be part of his campaign. Recently, we saw that the attackers are being smarter. The traditional attacks at the enterprise level is 57% of the attacks. 48% we saw it as multi-vector. The internet has transformed the humanity, and this is a real case. Before, maybe we were communicating through mails. You send an email we send a mail with a PO box, send it to the recipient, he read it, and all those stuff. Now, your kid, maybe 3 years old, he has his smartphone, and he is communicating, reading, do all type of education through the internet. So the internet is the transformation for humanity. The whole humanity is using the internet now. Maybe you can live without a water, electricity, but you can get the whole family in the same room if you just disconnect the internet. And this is a fact. That will take us to the second level. The connected world is business. When we talk about security, most of the time we're talking about visibility and the perception that if I have the data, I do have the visibility. But this perception is wrong. I might have a huge database, but I don't know how to use it. I cannot extract what value I can get from that data. I can get data, but no visibility. So if I do have data, that doesn't mean that I have visibility. Visibility is totally different. The visibility is about how to utilize that data in an efficient way, and I can extract the useful information from that data. This is one of the quotes we got it from our colleagues in one of the meetings, talking about the weather forecast and the weather satellite. A project in US talking about we need to launch satellite services for weather, and the answer from the stakeholder saying, I do have it in my mobile. If you open your mobile, you can get the weather forecast number in there in your phone. So we don't know what's behind the weather forecast when it comes to data, mathematics, and how can I generate predictable value of the weather. So we all agree that no security without visibility. If I want to protect, I should predict, I should know proactively what's happening in my infrastructure. And this is the core of any security solution, that I need to know exactly what's happening there for me to protect. I like this photo a lot because this is our life now. You are sailing in a very risky area. You have risks, you have threats, and you need to keep sailing. You cannot predict where you can get the hit. If you don't have a proper visibility, you will never know how to predict, and you can proactively protect your assets. We had this presentation in one of our internal sessions, and it was kind of quizzes. Number, and you need to predict this number. For me, I have never heard about this number, so I will tell you directly. 7.7 million endpoint for IoT we have right now in the world. And during the presentation, from a time perspective, you have 160,000 new IoT devices is online. So this number is huge. And every device in the network will have an IP. Million. So those devices come to the network or to the internet with their own risk, which is, do I really know or I have control over those IoT devices? This is the question that I need you to keep it for now. The advanced trade market today is really unstandardized system. You hear about a lot of solutions out of standard. They are evolving. You hear about covering a small piece of risk. You see about 184 plus offering in the market right now. Many technologies approach under a lot of marketing trends. Plus, with the change of the system that we are managing, even the old chart of any organization is changing. So you will see kind of conflict between multiple stakeholders, operation, audit, compliance, security, cybersecurity, a lot of departments within the same organization. And we see an evolving toward the cybercrime. We are losing a lot when it comes to cybercrime. So why we are here? This is not something for NetScout, it's for everybody. If you want to succeed, you should have the three main part of managing an infrastructure: process, people, and technology. I might have the best technology ever, but I don't have the right process to run